Hi, Texas event people. My name is Micki Pickering. I am here with the Texas Event Project, and I'm so excited today to be joined by the amazing Stephanie Necel. All right. Well, Stephanie is a co-founder of the Texas Event Project. She has been in the event game for over 14 years, and she is the owner of her own company called Stiph Productions, which is an event production company that helps people elevate their event experience. But she is a woman of many talents, and she also, for fun, and I'm sure it's a lot more than just fun, it's a lot of work too, but she also co hosts a spooky podcast called Beyond the Screams. So, welcome, Stephanie. Thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure, Micki.
Awesome. So, Steph, tell us a little bit about yourself and your role in the event world.
I've been in the freelance game for the last year while working on my little production company, Steph Productions. I mainly do production management, project management, lead tech, technical director, but also do video, audio, some lighting, and diagrams. I love making diagrams.
Diagrams, it's those are the kind of things I feel like most people would be like, why would you like a spreadsheet? Why would you like a diagram? But some of us event people thrive off those types of things. So I hear you say, you've been doing a little bit more video production and things right now. I'm sure that's as a change because of what the new event world is going on. But can you tell us a little bit about how COVID has affected your role in the event world and why you're maybe having to make some of those changes?
Yeah, I was like a lot of folks here in Austin, scheduled to work South by Southwest. And once that ended, and once that got canceled, everything just ended up getting canceled. So I was on the verge of creating an LLC for Steph Productions because I've mainly been a sole proprietor, and that put my plan on pause, and I had to wait and see what was going to happen because the AV industry just imploded. Um, I didn't really think that events were not going to come back this year. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm just going to wait it out through the summer, or, I'm sure the fall there'll be more events, or, this just needs to ride it out. I just need to ride it out.
Yeah.
So I did some odd jobs. I even helped a guy organize and start a company, just to kind of get some cash because I was like looking for a job wasn't really an option. And I didn't want to just do Uber Eats or work work as an essential worker, because I wasn't even in that business. And, you know, I still didn't want to be around people. I wanted to make sure I maintained distance.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean to your point, how long do we wait? I think a lot of us thought we'd be coming out of it in August and August came around and we were still in the thick of it. So that's a hard thing. So how have you kind of tolerated that scale of how long do you wait? When do you change? What does that look like for you? And when do you kind of feel or anticipate that things may be coming back?
Well, I had a friend who told me do virtual events like in March, in April, and I kind of poo-pooed that away. But in June, July, I realized that this is not going away, and all the events are going virtual. So in June, I got CTS certified and figured that I would just keep my learning brain active and started wrapping my head around everything about virtual events, online streaming, as much as I didn't want to, and as much as I don't want to.
Yeah. So what is that CTS certification?
So CTS certification is kind of the only I don't even want to say degree. It's kind of the only certification that someone in the audiovisual industry can get that says that they're an expert in technology and AV. Um, it's something that I've been thinking of doing for the past 13 years, but I always put it off. And just like a lot of people during COVID, all those things that you put off, not, it was a great time
Yeah.
to do
I think
them.
that's huge though, the fact that a lot of people took a time and just did not do much with their time. So the fact that you're staying educated, you're, like you said, putting your learning brain on and making sure that that's active. I think that that's really huge. And it sounds to me like you've really prepped yourself for when and if we come out of this to be really at the top of your game and to also be able to kind of carry yourself through this time period. So, with that being said, what kind of leads into what are you doing now to survive, to stay relevant? And then also, what are you doing to not only survive, but really thrive?
Yeah. Well, surviving, I had to change my morning coffee to have decaf because I would wake up with panic attacks like, what's happening? What am I going to do? The job and the industry I've been in for my entire career doesn't exist. And the little that does exist is saturated with amazing talent right now. Um, but I had to change my mindset from scarcity to abundance and doing morning meditations, even for 5 minutes, just telling myself that you know, everything's going to be fine. There's lots of options out there. Money comes to me easily.
Yeah,
I have, I have been very fortunate that I have been able to get unemployment benefits, which were amazing because the thought of how long can I sustain myself and rent and my expenses, and at what point am I going to have to consider moving in with my brother or my
yeah,
parents? I'm fortunate compared to a lot of folks that I know because I'm a single person. I have a dog, but I don't have a family to feed and college tuition to pay for, or anybody who owns a company that's responsible for actual employees.
yeah.
So
So,
keeping perspective and a healthy mindset of just, we're going to figure this out. Um, and then the other key to surviving and thriving is um, maintaining my network. And how I got connected with you through our mutual friend Reese, just sending a text message out to her in July asking, "Hey, how are you doing? What's going on?" And she organized a call. We all came on together and we made some good connections, and we're now collaborating on virtual events.
yeah. Yeah, it's been incredible. I mean, we never knew from that first phone call what would come, and it's exciting to see what we've built. And it really is, here at the Texas Event Project, that is what we all are all about is the community and the connections and giving a space for all of our friendly event folks of Texas to have a voice and we want everybody to know what's going on with you guys. So I appreciate that stuff. I think it's so important to let people know the little things that you're doing, the daily meditations and just the practices of positive thinking that do make a big difference overall. And, you know, I think perspective is big, and there's a lot of people, kids and families and things like that. I'm too so thankful that and feel very lucky and fortunate that I didn't have all those extras to account for during this time frame. But it's not like it's been super simple. I mean, you talked about your dog who I think it's cute. CJ's made a couple appearances in some of our videos, which let's just be real, you're in a one bedroom apartment and you've had to turn that into your office. your studio, your editing room. How has that been, making that kind of adjustment?
I, because I've been more of a manager position, or I would hire out technicians to provide equipment and operate the equipment. I was never much of a gear person, but now it's do it yourself. And I had to buy a second computer. I upgraded my monitor. I got some lighting instruments. I'm going to have to buy a camera. I have just fallen down the gear hole. And yeah, turning my little workspace into an actual studio, moving the couch around and, trying to look like trying to provide a good looking video on a virtual event has been very interesting.
Yeah. But it sounds like you're figuring that out. Do you feel like you have that figured out? Have you figured some new things? What are you doing now that is working in the new event space?
Um, Definitely figuring it out. There are so many options when it comes to live streaming. And I have to give a huge shout out to the AV Educate group on Facebook. They are filled with some amazing techs who are a plethora of information. I have a question, I have 20, 30 people responding with their
Mhm.
experience and suggestions on what piece of equipment to get, why this piece does better than this. And they are absolutely awesome, because they're not working against each other. We're all in this together. Like we can thrive together by helping each other out. We're not fighting for business. So it's been a really awesome community. Again, there is lots of potential work out there. It's just knowing how to provide a good solution.
Yeah.
And yeah, so those folks over at AV Educate, follow them, get into it. They do a podcast every Monday. They go live. Any technical questions, they have a like thousands of technical folks who can answer them.
That's amazing. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, get at us, AV educate people. We'd love to talk to someone over there too. And that's exactly what we mean. It's not about fighting each other for the business. We know that there are, not as many events going on, and we are a lot of talented people going after the same stuff, but that is really the community that we're trying to build, is the support community within all of that. It's not about trying to battle each other. It's really about building each other up. So I think that's awesome. AV advocate, educate, that they're doing that and they're out there and they're offering that resource. And it sounds like there's so many people that want to help and that are out there. It's really kind of bringing a sense of community within this event world, where we all used to kind of do all these independent events, and we knew of the other logistics person, we knew of the other AV person, but we never really worked with them. And now we're really connecting with all these people to build these relationships. And I think that that's something that is pretty magical that's coming out of this.
Yeah. And they want to help do better events. So just like what I want to do with Stiph Productions is help those folks out there who don't even know where to start when it comes to an event, or they don't understand what technology is available. And instead of just, you know, random Googling someone or something, or just going with whatever someone tells you, there are options out there, good options, and options that don't have to cost a ton of money, you know?
Yeah.
And they
Perfect.
just want to help educate the rest of the AV folks so that, you know, the AV team doesn't get a bad rep, or someone doesn't have a bad experience because they didn't format the video correctly, or they didn't have the correct resolution, or easy problems that, people could have avoided with just a little bit of knowledge.
Yeah. Easy for you, they should say. I don't say those are easy problems to solve, but I'm glad they're
Yeah.
easy for you, because I often need someone like you as the front side on logistics. I am very thankful to have a strong, professional producer to work with. So it means a lot that you know that. And I don't want to do all the Googling. I'm usually just calling Steph, what camera do I need for this? So that's much appreciated. So that's awesome. So I love that. So
Yeah.
what's next? So with that, how do people find you? How do they connect you? And tell us a little bit about, I've got to know a little bit more about this podcast and your spooky side.
Well, I love horror and Halloween. The podcast is called Beyond the Screams. You can find us on any podcast service, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, and we, similar to what we're trying to do with Texas Event Project, we want to help promote the horror community and horror content creators. We have a great Facebook group. It's facebook.com/groups/Beyond the Screams podcast. And we do weekly episodes. Each month we have a topic, and in that month we typically review a movie and then some short movies or TV episodes. We've been doing campfire stories, so sharing spooky horror stories that we read with like a campfire in the background and sound effects. And then we usually do an overarching deep dive into whatever the topic of the month was. It's been really cool because there are a lot of just movie review podcasts out there that are one-way conversations. But what we want to do, we want to start a two-way conversation. We want to start showcasing more horror creators other than just the Blumhouse or top movies that exist out there.
Yeah, that sounds very cool. And as far as Stiff Production goes, do you have a website? Where's the best place for people to find you and what you've got going on?
Yeah, you can find me at stiffproductions.com. I do have a Facebook page at Stiph Productions, or you can shoot me an email, stiff@stiffproductions.com. And it is a play on my name.
I was going to say
Replace replace the E with an I, stiff, you know. But there's nothing.
STIPH Productions, everybody. So she's messing
Yes.
with, but make sure you get out there. So Stiff, STIPH Productions, Beyond the Screams. And then now she's a big part of the Texas Event Project. So, and we're excited to have you as a part of the Texas Event Project. I personally am so glad that were brought into the group. I knew the two others, but you are a new face for me, and it has been a new friendship and working relationship that has built through it, which is exactly what we want for everybody else that joins
Mhm.
the event group to be a part of. So,
Yeah.
Stephanie, thank you so much for joining me today. This was really helpful and really informative, and it's really great to see you thriving and hear what you're doing in today's new world.
Thank you. I have to say, I'm a behind the scenes person, so being interviewed is very awkward for me. I like asking the questions and hearing what people say, but having to talk about myself and what I'm doing is a little bit of a struggle.
Well, I'm glad you took the time because it is very, very important that everybody gets to know the people behind the scenes because there are so many people behind the scenes in the event world that do not get seen or recognized at events. And we really want to make sure we highlight those people so you all can see the levels of roles in the event world and all these people that, like Steph, stay behind the scenes but play a huge, huge role. So, thank you again for taking time for me. And we look forward to seeing more of what's to come from Stiff Productions and Beyond the Screams. Perfect time. It's Halloween season, y'all. I know you're interested. Go follow her and check out that podcast.
Yeah, we'd appreciate it.
All right. Bye, guys. Thanks so much.